Welcome to the Footy Museum and the Footy Museum podcast. I am Justin Whitty, co-director of the Footy Museum, and I am joined by my good friend, fellow co-director of the Footy Museum, Maria Van Dyken Lee. Maria Van Dyken Lee, how are you?
Maria Van Dyken Lee is doing fantastic today.
All right. Maria, I have a question for you.
What is it?
Are you drunk?
I don't think so.
Well, do you know who is?
Who's drunk?
La Liga. Did you watch this game? Girona versus Atletico Madrid. Oh my gosh. After our pod last week about Girona, I decided to catch this game. It was fantastic. Girona ended up beating Atleti for the first time in their history, right?
Either that or a long time.
I think it was the first time in their history. And the game had everything. It was 4-3. There was no defense. Atletico Madrid had their classic time-honored mint green pajama kits. There were multiple cornrows. It was just a fantastic game. And I noticed something else about the game because we've talked about the design of La Liga in the past, specifically the rebrand.
Which I do not like.
Yeah, we weren't fans. But I have to say the overall design of the game, the graphics was really fantastic. Very intentional, well-designed. I like how they kept the crests of the teams in black and white and just had simple, basic colors of the league. There were great animations throughout, and it was fully integrated. It felt like a fully integrated experience.
Yeah, the overall logo of the Liga side, the graphics experience and the graphics production of La Liga is good.
Yeah, and one of the partners is EA Sports, and they are clearly trying to make this as much like a video game as possible. I guess because they think eventually they will not have to have players, but just have AI simulations.
It will make the transition more seamless for us.
It will. It'll be nice. So when
we'll just ease back into our lazy boys, put on our VR goggles,
right,
and just let the AI
and watch
take over.
the Barcelona team that is all Messi. The all Messi Barcelona team. Yep. Just bearded Messi, not bearded, long hair Messi, young Messi, old Messi. That reminds me of like those kids' books, like Little Miss Happy and Little Messi, Big Messi, Happy Messi. So when AI does that, we will all be caught unawares because we're so used to this beautiful design. And they also use that, what do you call this? The soft focus?
The shallow depth of field.
Shallow depth of field. So very much like how they do the videos in FIFA. But anyway, it makes a difference. It really makes a difference to the viewing experience. And I enjoyed it. I'm going to be watching a lot more La Liga. One thing I did not watch, but I heard about was pretty fantastic, or interesting, I should say, was the Turkish Super Cup. Are you familiar with the Turkish Super Cup?
It's the most super of all the Turkish cups.
It is essentially a giant super cup. So imagine like a normal cup.
I'm picturing a normal cup.
A normal cup. But then imagine if that cup had superpowers and was Turkish. That's essentially what this is. No, the Turkish Super Cup is a mid-season cup match between the the champions of the Super League and the Turkish Cup champions from the previous year. So this year it was Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce, and it was held in the place where you would expect such a Turkish game to be held.
Quintessentially, the most super of all
of Turkish football, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And I say it was planned to take place there because the game actually didn't happen because this year happens to be what?
If my sources are correct, it is the 100th anniversary of modern Turkey.
The modern Turkish state. That's right.
I just knew that.
Yeah, I know. It's just something we have on our calendar because we are good friends with friend of the pod, owner, who talked to us about the Turkish League earlier this year. You should go check out that podcast. And he mentioned how political the fans are in the league.
Yeah.
And in honor of this 100-year anniversary, the teams were planning on coming out with T-shirts with the image of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who was the founder of modern-day Turkey. just in honor of him. There were fans also had banners with his likeness. You can see a flag there. A lot of the banners had one of his most famous quotes, which is "Peace at home, peace in the world." A pretty nice quote, right?
Yeah, you would think that would be uncontroversial, like peace, people like peace.
Yeah,
peace is good.
Peace everywhere. Let's just apparently too controversial for
Peace.
Saudi Arabia.
Peace. The lack of violence and disruption.
Yeah, but
peace.
But it acknowledges it's the opposite of something. Because Saudi Arabia want to take all of the narratives, all of the stories, all of the history, all of the quirkiness that makes football interesting. They want to take that away and just leave the game. And let's be honest, the game is the least interesting thing about football. The game is a window in which to look at the world and learn histories and talk about things. And that's what's fascinating. You take all that other stuff away, then you are just left with that AI simulation, that La Liga FIFA game. So I think it is a reminder of kind of how scary are these large forces trying to direct not just soccer, but really large parts of the world and a flattening of it. But the teams refused to play because they did not want to. They wanted to express themselves. They didn't like the fact that fans weren't being let in the stadium. So the game was called off and will be played at a future date somewhere in Turkey. Yeah.
Turkey, the home of the 100th anniversary of modern Turkey.
Yes. That's so weird. I don't know. I wonder what a Turkish Super Cup in Turkey is going to be like. I mean, it's not going to have that Saudi flavor they're used to. The FA Cup. I watched several games this weekend. Did you watch any?
Yeah, I watched a few.
I don't know. Is there a particular team that you watched?
I did. I watched a little club called Leeds United.
Oh.
Totally smash Peterborough.
Peterborough. Peterborough sounds like the poor kid in 5th grade doesn't have any friends.
Peterborough.
Oh, leave Peterborough alone.
And he lost.
Yeah. He got beat up by bad Patrick Bamford, who had a banger ball.
Slim Shady strikes again.
That homemade Slim Shady haircut's really paying off.
It is.
That was true form. Cool. Off the chest, hitting the ball in the air from like midway between the halfway line and the box.
It's crazy.
It was gorgeous.
It's kind of funny because Lee's first goal was off a corner and he was right there. He had the assist, but it came off his chest and then Ampadu kicked it in. So me and Jeremy were kind of poking fun because we were like, he was not passing that ball. He really wanted to score that goal. But then he had his moment and he hit it off the chest again and then turned, smashed it like a hammer. It was great.
Congratulations to Leeds. There was also the first Tyne-Wear Derby in, I want to say, how long was that? The first one since 2016, I believe, and that is against Newcastle and Sunderland. Sunderland obviously is now a championship side. They were as low as League Two. A lot of people are familiar with them from the Netflix documentary Sunderland Till I Die. But Newcastle won. You would expect that.
Yeah, you would kind of expect that.
Their payroll is like approaching 700 million, where Sunderland's 25. But the second half, Sunderland, even though they were down 2-0, pretty much right at the beginning of the second half. Once they started to play more their style, it got closer, but it really wasn't close.
Yeah, they didn't have a shot.
But a great atmosphere in that game. And Sunderland Till I Die was the documentary that inspired Rob McElhenney to explore purchasing a soccer team, a little soccer team he and his friend, my icon, Ryan Reynolds.
Your mortal enemy.
Named Wrexham. Wrexham also won against a upper Division League One team, Shrewsbury Town. And apparently these teams really don't like each other. And what I was most taken by in this game was Shrewsbury's crest, which features
these very thirsty lions.
3 lion heads with very long tongues hanging out of their mouth inside of a circular crest. And it's just crazy. I couldn't figure it out. A lot of people, I asked, like, what is this? A lot of people just assumed they were ties at first, which I think would be even funnier.
Yeah.
But these are like, what? These would be like 2 feet long tongues or something.
Very, very thirsty lions.
Yeah, very thirsty. Maybe drinking milk.
I'm sure there's some sort of heraldry explanation for this.
I looked it up in the rule in our big tome of heraldry, our heraldic tome. It says that it is a sign of strength to show a lion with its mouth open because it is roaring, and often to symbolize the fact that it is roaring, they show its tongue sticking out. So that's why it is ridiculous. But it did send me down a little bit of a wormhole, and I discovered probably my favorite crest of all time, and this is the 1980s Shrewsbury Town FC crest, the Shrews.
Love it. What'd you say it is? 80s?
This is from the 80s, the Shrews. It has those 3 lions, but they are inside of what can only be described as a peninsula or island surrounded by, imagine what is a river.
Is Shrewsbury the crest is
like, I don't know anything about Shrewsbury.
Or is it a tree?
It does look like a tree. I don't know. It's so wild. The thing, it is shaped like a ring, like an upside down ring, or like a pacifier.
Yeah, or a toilet.
Right. It is. It's the aerial view of a toilet
that's leaking because there's a river.
3 lions plopped in the toilet water with that's why their tongue is out. They're floating in tepid toilet water. Oh, I love this so much. I am going to find, I need to find an 80s Shrewsbury shirt because this is my all-time favorite now.
I think it's excellent. I love how weird these lions are.
Oh, and it's so wonky and crooked.
Hold on.
Look at the C in the FC. It's like they ran out of room. Like when you're a kid and you started writing letters and you couldn't figure out.
When you're a kid, you mean me yesterday.
Oh my gosh. So up the Shrews. Way to go, guys. Any other FA Cup magic?
We were watching the Leeds.
What was that?
Peterborough, and then we switched to Arsenal Liverpool, and I was like, oh yeah, it was like being at a high school orchestra concert and then going to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Like it's like, even though I'd say that the lower division game was kind of more fun to watch than Liverpool Arsenal. It was like the quality of the passing, just the space they have, the precision is just. I was like, oh yeah.
I always think like we should have something out like until then, like keep it real, y'all. No. And that's all the footy news.
Pitter patter, Footy Museum friends.
That's right. Pitter patter, Footy Museum friend. Or maybe see you next time, footy friends. We could get real like, and that's all there is in the world of football.
Good night.
And that's the story of football. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.